Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 series, Rescue the Rockies. And the international free agent signing period begins today. In our last episode, we talked about the options in front of us, and as always, got some great feedback from the Worldwide Scouting Department on what to do. 4 different paths are popular with different members of the Worldwide Scouting Department. One is to go for the diversified route and perhaps try to get a combination of the center fielder Gustavo Escada, who's looking for $2 million, Silent Jake, really good-looking defensive outfielder with some nice personality traits and a little bit of pop in the bat for home runs, and really good gap power potentially as well, although not exceptional speed. But the opportunity to pair Escada, Silent Jake, with an interesting shortstop prospect, Antonio Alarcon, good-looking defensive prospect as well, high baseball IQ, another guy with potentially exceptional gap power, although middling speed, and a little bit of pop and ability to draw walks. Raven Spawn 3 felt that trying to pair Escada and Alarcon was perhaps the most interesting and potentially fruitful option that we could follow. One vote also for the third baseman Flavian Calderon. Almost scientific history clips like pursuing him. Looks like a potential on-base percentage machine with potentially outstanding contact and a potentially excellent eye. Gap power and the home run power more in the middle area. Very attractive personality with the high adaptability, work ethic, and baseball IQ. Okay looking defensive prospect, does have that extreme development risk. But the Colonel Calderon looking for $3 million. I think if we're going to go for any of these higher end options, given that we have as little money to spend as anyone with $4.8 million, and there are about 20 teams that can outbid us with either about $5.3 or $5.8 million per team. If we're going to go after a higher end prospect like Calderon, I think the plan is to offer it all at once. The second most popular choice among the Worldwide Scouting Department was center fielder Danny Betancourt, looking for $2.8 million. Both Avery Shaham and Ravenspawn 3 had him at or near the top of their list. As I mentioned, Ravenspawn 3 also liked the Alarcon Escada option, but I think he may have ultimately come down on the side of Betancourt. Great personality, solid outfield range, good speed, and a potentially very interesting combination with gap power, home run power, and eye, all borderline exceptional, to go with potentially good contact. For a 17-year-old to already have 40 gap power, also pretty impressive. And with the 65 speed, he should be able to take advantage of it. But the most popular choice of the Worldwide Scouting Department is the right fielder Saul Bellow, 16-year-old prospect, respectable-looking defensive prospect, has a couple of positive personality traits, not great base-running instincts, but the bat is potentially very special for the left-handed corner outfielder Jumbito. I think his gap power could be exceptional, great eye, very good contact, and well above average home run power as well if he reaches his full potential. Do like the fact that at 16 years old, he's already 30 or 35 in the 4 primary categories. Bello ultimately was the most popular choice of the Worldwide Scouting Department, as I noted. Cervalarian, Not My 4-Ply, Why Me 943, Undercover Boomer, DLL First Base 14, and Scott Donovan all put Bello at the top of their lists. And ultimately, that's what we're going to try to do. There are several interesting options in this class. So if we don't get him, I think we can still be very happy with the way that this class turns out. But given that there's 20-ish teams that can easily outbid us, and the best we can do with the rest of the league is just tie them in our max offer, think it makes sense if we think Bello is the guy, and we do agree with the consensus of the worldwide scouting department that he's our first choice. Try to be as aggressive as possible and see if we can get Jumbito Bello into our international complex. Other than that, as we continue moving through this episode, finding out what happens in international amateur free agency will be pretty important. We've got about a little less than 2 months left for the longer trips through the development lab. Things have improved a little since the last time we looked. Johnny Castillo excelling in his bat speed program. Leo Martinez, Mike Castro, Packy Kluver, and Carlos Davila are all on track with their programs. Guadrone and Colson remain frustrated with their programs, and our newly acquired catcher, J.D. Lee, also not making a ton of progress in improving his defensive catcher. He's only got 6 days left in that program, and then presumably we will start somebody else on a defensive or base running program once we find out that Lee likely doesn't improve his defense at all. And it did not take long for Saul Bello to tell us he's got an offer that he prefers. I'm assuming that means we can't touch him. Yep, he's got more money than we can offer him, so we gave Jumbito a try. But unfortunately, as I noted, most of the league can outbid us, and at least one team has. He says it's Miami. Who knows where he'll end up signing. My thought is that there's probably going to be a lot of interest in Bello. Although we tried to get him, we will still put him on our short list of prospects and track how Mr. Bello does over the course of his career. And I think we might as well still try to go big since it's only been a couple of days. Nobody's been signed yet. Kind of agree with Avery Shaham and Ravenspawn 3 that Betancourt is the second best prospect in this class. Certainly a lot to like with him. Interesting outfield prospect who looks like he can absolutely hammer the ball. Like the good speed, solid defense. We talked about the great personality traits for Betancourt. Little older than Bello at close to 17 and a half at this point, but still think that there's plenty of opportunity for him to grow. Another guy who's 30, 35, or 40, as we talked about in that gap power, so pretty well developed. Says he's looking for $2.8 million. He's got an offer from the Red Sox. Again, not going to fool around with these higher-end prospects. We're going to offer him every penny we have right now and see if maybe we can lock up spec Betancourt. And some more bad news today. Betancourt looks like he's found a more remunerative offer from the Kansas City Royals, so we can't touch them either. We've actually had really good luck the last few years when we've tried to go at the high end of the market, so I can't really complain this year that we're in a situation where we've swung and missed on a couple of the really high-end prospects, and they're going for teams that can offer them more money. As expected, no improvement in J.D. Lee's trip through the development lab, so we've got another spot open that we will try to fill right now with someone who could maybe use a little more help defensively. And although he didn't end up in a long development lab program this year, we're going to put Phil Dingwell in to work on his outfield defense. Already pretty respectable defensively, but can't hurt to try to make him better and more versatile and more valuable. The rookie last year hit .234, but did hit 30 doubles, 18 homers for us. Was less than a win above replacement as he batted just .234 and was basically a league average offensive player. But hopefully we can make him a little more valuable with some work on his defense. Turning our attention back to this international amateur free agent class, we'll also track what Betancourt does, but we tried to get both Bello and Betancourt, so hope they go on and have great careers, but if they do, I won't kick myself for not trying, since we did attempt to bring them on board. Unfortunately, finances got in the way. Flavian Calderon, the choice of Almost Scientific History clips, already has an offer of 4.8 million, or actually he's looking for an offer of 4.8 million. So it's not going to shock me if the Colonel ends up going for more. Gustavo Escada, the guy who had the $2 million demand that we thought we could get on a deal where there might be an opportunity to get somebody else, looking for 4.4 million already. So the bidding for Silent Jake Escada is pretty high. That said, he is a pretty interesting prospect. Like the defense, like the personality, and is a left-hander who looks like he could slam a lot of home runs. Antonio Alarcon, still not bidding war for him, although he's looking for 1.6 million right now. His original demand was $1 million, but clearly there's no way to pair Escada and Alarcon right now. I kind of like Escada, and with the fact that he's looking for 4.4 million rather than 4.8 right now, I think there's some small probability that if we offer him 4.8, maybe we lock him up right away. If things don't work out with him, then it's definitely going to become a year where we try to take a more diversified approach and hope that Alarcon still will be on the market if we strike out on Silent Jake. And it looks like the third time was the charm, going for the 4.8 million on Gustavo Escada. Did get him signed. Again, I can't claim that I liked him as much as Bello or Betancourt, and certainly at one point, just a few days in game time ago, or about a week and a half, I guess, in game time at this point, thought that there might be a chance to pair Escada with Alarcon, but with the demand for Escada already being at 4.4 million, felt like if we preferred him to Alarcon, which I did just a little bit, made sense to be as aggressive as possible. And ultimately we've got our third favorite player in the pool locked up, and given that there were about 20 teams with more money than us to come out of it with our third favorite player, doesn't feel bad, although certainly would have been interesting to have locked up Bello or Betancourt, but not in this lifetime, unfortunately. And we've made it to the start of the preseason, no change to our budget, so we still have plenty of money to spend. Taking a look at the pool that's available, though, it's definitely started to thin out a little bit as far as the pitchers. The injured Justin Martinez and Levi Sterling are the top players available. When we think about the batters who are still available on the market, Ezequiel Tovar, our old friend, longtime shortstop, the only guy who's been with us at the major league level since the first days of this playthrough, still on the market, still looking for about 13 million a year. Still looking for a 3-year contract, 39 million total, though. Wants a role in the starting lineup, and we don't really have a spot for him right now. Undercover Boomer in particular really wants us to bring him back. He suggested recently that because Tovar would inevitably get injured, we could potentially send Johnny Castillo down to AAA to begin the season, and then we could bring him right up when Tovar inevitably got hurt, and can't really argue with that logic. We've got the money to spend, but at this point, kind of like the 6 infielders we've got. As you may remember, we also picked up a guy who is a pretty decent-looking infielder in the Rule 5 draft as an insurance policy. So if at some point down the line Tovar is willing to take a minor league contract, I know that would be insulting for a player with his track record and his great defense, but can't rule out a reunion if that were to happen. But I don't think I'm going to reach for him at the major league level at this point. And unfortunately, there will be no reunion with Ezequiel Tovar after being with us in the majors since we started this journey in 2025. Tovar has finally left, signed with the Tigers, ended up getting more money than he had allegedly been looking for. 3 years, almost $50 million total, with a vesting option for his age 37 season. His bat has definitely tailed off over the last few years, although still great in the clubhouse and very good defensively with really good speed. But he's wrecked physically. He's 35, and as I noted, the bat just isn't what it was when he was winning Silver Sluggers back actually as recently as 4 years ago, the last time he got a Silver Slugger, the second of his career. But he hasn't been an all-star in 8 years at this point, so I feel like although we will miss his leadership in the clubhouse and miss his great defense, have to make some difficult decisions, and we wish Tovar well with the Detroit Tigers organization. And if you were wondering, our fan loyalty is still at 100. We had, reached 100 when we won the World Series last year. Got some boosts from some signings we made of arbitration-eligible players and some of the guys we brought on in trade, although we also lost some points with some of the people that we traded away as well. But ultimately still in a very good spot, finally, in fan interest after a pretty long saga to get there. And as we move closer to the start of spring training, Phil Dingwell, now halfway through his program, frustrated with his work on the defense. Things have kind of turned a little bit against us with the longer programs as well, although Castillo and Leo Martinez now both excelling with their programs. Only Carlos Bear Barrel de Villa is also on track with his program. Otherwise, we've now got 4 people frustrated with their longer programs. So right now, only set to have a 3 out of 7 success rate with the longer programs. Hopefully, we can get that up to 4 or maybe even 5 again over these next 2 to 3 weeks before we get to the start of spring training. And we're now closing in on the start of spring training, just a couple days away. Dingwell, no improvement in his outfield program, so we gave it a shot. We'll get that 8th slot back up and running with a final program there, and then in a couple of days after spring training begins, find out how everything ends up working out with the rest of the guys in the development lab. We've got 3 guys excelling at this point. De Villa, Castillo, and Martinez, the 3 who all looked like they were on track for successful programs when we checked in a few weeks ago. Everybody else frustrated at this point, and outside of Packy Kluver, seems unlikely that anyone's going to get to a successful point with just 3 days left in the development lab. And with the slot that just opened up, the young infielder Trent Kaysen, who was the World Series MVP last year, we'll have him work on his infield defense over the next month or so. And we won a slugfest on opening day of spring training against Cincinnati, 12-11. As we kind of anticipated, only 3 successful results, 4 unsuccessful results with the long programs. But I guess the positive thing is that all 3 of the successful results were outstanding. Big one, Johnny Castillo with a successful result in generating bat speed for the 2nd year in a row for the young infielder. Potential power improved by 5, current power improved by 10. Don't know that we're really seeing that in the numbers right here, but certainly think that at 22 years old, Castillo should be ready for a very important role with us this year. You'll recall that we brought him up right at the end of last season, before the playoffs, the final week of the season when we lost Ross Nile DePaula for the postseason, hit 296 in 27 at-bats. Unfortunately, he had not been on the 40-man roster at that point. He'd only played 18 games in AAA for us, so he wasn't eligible for the postseason, although it looks like because he ended up on the 26-man roster as of the end of the regular season, even though he wasn't on the playoff roster, still gets the denotion as a major league champion, which is nice. Leo Martinez, this is a big one for the three-time defending Cy Young Award winner, who we've got locked up for a long way to go. His endurance had started to slip a little bit. Says now his current stamina improved by 5, back up to 60. So that should be a nice step in extracting even more value out of Mr. Martinez. No improvement for the young outfielder Mike Castro on plate discipline. No improvement for the young pitcher David Guadron on improving his arsenal. Evan Kluver, no improvement on his control. Jeff Colson, no improvement on his strength and conditioning program. But Carlos Davila, an important infield prospect for us, an outstanding result in his gap power program. Potential improved just a little bit. It was already pretty high. Current gap power improved by 5 points. The 19-year-old, a rare teenager that we put through the development lab. Hopefully that's a nice boost for his ability to kind of play now and into the future. He is in spring training with us, although he hasn't played above high A ball. Taking a look at his ratings at this point, tend to think he'll be beginning the year for us in Double A, right about the time that he's turning 20 years old. So with that, we've got 7 open spots in the development lab that we will think about filling, and certainly will fill, likely with primarily or all defensive programs. We'll do that between now and the start of our next episode. You can see we're made a minor league offer to Luke Dickerson. He's a guy who was looking for big money coming out of this season. He was looking for big money a year ago when we signed him to a minor league contract with a major league option. This year, after he hit 206 for us in 63 major league at-bats, made a minor league pure offer to him. If he accepts that, that will be a little more insurance for us in case we have some injuries, although Dickerson is fragile physically and 31 years old, so certainly not relying on him, but better than nothing if we can get an experienced major leaguer into AAA. And with that, we will call it an episode. Next time around, we will sim through spring training, hopefully avoid any significant injuries, figure out who's going to make the 26-man roster, and find out how these final trips through the development lab work out for us defensively and possibly on the base paths. Until our next episode, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.